Lanterns just had its second episode premiere on HBO Max, where we yet again follow Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in Rushville, Nebraska as they try to investigate an alien mystery going on. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am the Movie Tin and we are yet again continuing our Lanterns weekly recap. And I'll be pointing out any references or Easter eggs I could find in this episode to you. And this episode, just like the first one, extremely strong. I have a feeling this show is going to be absolutely peak, because it is so far. I'm having such a good time with it, with the mystery and everything going on. There was nothing from 2026 this episode. This whole episode was just 2016. So, I mean, that's fine as well. I don't think apparently they're not going to get back to the 2026 mystery until like episode 5, which I'm kind of okay with, because this mystery in 2016 with the aliens has gotten me really intrigued, especially after this episode and all the reveals they gave and all the like new characters they introduced. I'm very interested in this. I'm glued to the screen every time it's on. So yeah, I'm loving the show so far, especially this episode. It was so good. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Obviously, this video will contain spoilers for Lanterns episode 2 and most likely episode 1. So if you haven't seen either of those, click off, come back after. And also, not just about my opinion, leave your opinion down below in the comments. What do you think of the episode? Are you enjoying the show so far? Why or why not? And any theories you have. We'll begin the episode with Hal Jordan trying to train Jon Stewart in how to fly. But there's a big gag that we've seen in the trailer of when Jon Stewart trying to fly, he instead conjures a bird, which flies, and it's green. And then this bird becomes a whole main character this episode, which I wasn't expecting, but it was a nice little thing in there, you know. It would show that Jon Stewart can keep his concentration and he's worthy of being a Green Lantern. So, you know, that was a fun little side plot with the bird. But after this, Hal sends Jon to go to Hal's house in a different area to retrieve some stuff for Hal, including the lantern, which they need to charge the ring, because the ring is obviously nearly out of power because it hasn't been charged. So that's what Jon is doing this episode. But then after the title sequence, we see Hal going throughout the town looking for something, which we don't get revealed yet. But then when he's also searching for this, he flies up with the ring. But eventually, since the ring has not been charged, it runs out of power and he falls flat on his face, which is probably what he was hoping was going to happen to Jon if Jon was able to fly. But then we get revealed that what he was looking for the whole time was the town. The town is now in a meeting with the sheriff, Carrie, talking to the people about the aliens, the shooting that happened, and just considering whether or not they should do a football game that Friday. But then Jon rings Hal from his house, and I gotta say, I was not expecting Hal Jordan's house to look like that. That is quite the house, even the inside. Like, I was not expecting this version of Hal Jordan to live, like, so nicely. Like, this is beautiful. Also inside, we do see a picture of Hal Jordan younger with the Harry Potter cast, which is a nice little nod to the last episode when he was questioning the alien about Harry Potter. This is why he knows the cast. But Hal then goes into a morgue to retrieve some of the aliens' bodies, where we then see a penis in the DCU. Was not expecting that, but okay. We then go back to Jon's point of view, where he then finds the Green Lantern outfit in Hal's closet. And why did they make it look so brown in the trailer? It's clearly green here, just a weathered down green. Why did in the trailer they made it look like such a dirty brown color? Why did they do that? That turned so many people off the show because they didn't want to include the green. But it's clearly green, just obviously old because Hal hasn't worn it in a while. But like, why did they do that in the trailer? But Jon then opens the box that is containing the lantern, where Hal tells him it's not just a regular box or a vault. It's instead a pocket dimension, which you've seen a lot of in the DCU with Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. Throughout the whole episode, Hal has been asking Jon to feed his pet Earl, which we learn is not a cat or a dog, it's instead an alien plant. Which of course it is. It looks like the thing from Little Shop of Horrors. It's called Earl Jordan. I don't know where Hal got this, but okay. It was a funny gag. We then see Hal trying to take the aliens into the football field, but then he learns that there's an alien detector which stops him from doing this. But then we cut back to Jon, who's getting ready to leave Hal's house. But as he's leaving, he gets attacked by people and does put up a little bit of a fight, but eventually gets kidnapped anyway. But then when he's put into the van and wakes up later on, he puts up another good fight and is actually able to push the guy who took him outside of the van, which just shows how skilled John is, but it doesn't really work because he gets kidnapped again anyways. We then go back to Hal where the sheriff finds him with the bodies from the morgue, and he convinces her to take him to her father-in-law because he wants to question him about the alien tech. And when they get there, they do question this man, the Yellowstone-looking guy, about the alien tech, but he does not give them any answers and just says that because he signed an NDA for someone, he can't say who it is. Now, who this person might be could be a big reveal later on in the season, or it could be like some random character they introduce later on. But the way they make it sound, it seems like they are kind of an important character, so I'm excited to learn who they actually are and what is actually going on in this ranch, because Hal pretty much knows that if they have that tech at the football field, they're going to have more on their ranch. But since this guy doesn't want Hal to find that out, he instead shoots Hal for trespassing onto his property. But we then come back to John's story, where we actually find the people who took him are aliens, but instead of trying to kill him or torture him, they instead want to recruit Jon Stewart onto their team, because the aliens are not there to take over the world. They're there to find a Manhunter, who is a big villain in Green Lantern comics. It's a whole race of people, of like Guardians. The Guardians made them, same people who like gave the Green Lanterns their powers. The Guardians made them, but then they turned rogue, and I'm guessing that's the same story that's here. But the aliens then show Jon Stewart with this device what the Manhunter could do to Earth if they don't find it. And it's kind of a horrifying scene, just seeing how Jon Stewart is reacting to this pain. It's horrifying to look at. But then Jon Stewart is then told that if they do not find the Manhunter in 48 hours, they being Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, then the aliens will wipe out half of Nebraska. So the aliens are not the villains, the Manhunters are. But we then cut back to Hal Jordan with the sheriff, and Hal's doing fine. He was shot in the shoulder. Probably still really hurt, but he's okay. But anyways, apparently in his sleep, the sheriff heard him say the name Sinestro over and over again. So she questions him about that, and she reads up on him and tells Hal everything she knows about how Hal defeated him after he turned rogue on the Green Lanterns. And this obviously comes back later on. But then this scene also ends with Hal Jordan and the sheriff being quite nice to each other. They're warming up to each other. Then on their way out of the hospital, the Sheriff Carey reveals to Hal that she actually came from Gotham. Batman, please give us Brave and the Bold, James Gunn, please. But Jon Stewart then gets back to town after the aliens let him go, where he then runs into the same woman from last episode, the wife of Megan. And I have a strong feeling now she might be the Manhunter who's hiding in Rushville. I could be extremely wrong about that, but I just have a feeling that she is actually the Manhunter, because there's no way it's just a coincidence that he's run into her twice, right? And maybe that's how Macon, the guy, how he has the tech to identify aliens. Maybe she gave it to him. Maybe he knows she's a Manhunter. Maybe not. I could be completely wrong, but I have a strong feeling that she is in fact the Manhunter. But then Hal and John reunite at the end of the episode, where John then tells Hal about the aliens taking him and questioning him about the Manhunters, and that they have 48 hours to locate the Manhunter, or the aliens wipe out half of Nebraska. And after hearing this news, Hal Jordan then suits up, because Jon Stewart brought back the suit from his house. Hal suits up and flies away into space, which is such a cool thing to see. And who does Hal go to meet? He, in fact, goes to meet Sinestro. I was not expecting to see Sinestro so early on in the season, but here he is. And they end the episode just before we can hear them talk to each other in full. So next episode, we are going to be seeing a full conversation between Hal Jordan and Sinestro, and I'm so hyped to see that. But anyways, yes, that is where they end the episode. Next episode, we're going to be seeing a lot of Sinestro and Hal Jordan. And I'm so hyped for that. So stick around for next week to when I talk about that. And I'll probably have some videos in the meantime, so go watch them. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, please. And comment as well, because I want to hear your opinion. But yeah, anyway, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.